Hi, and welcome to my second entry. The holidays are over with, and I now have a chance to go back to writing. For some reason, the holidays are always a very stressful time. I mean, they're stressful for most people, but even more so for me. I don't really celebrate the holidays. I haven't celebrated them since I was a kid. I would celebrate them for my kids. You know, I would do the things I need to do. You know, I would hide the presents. I would eat the cookies and drink the milk for that Santa was there. I'd write little notes to my kids, you know, things like that. But for me, the holidays themselves, just, I don't know, they lost their luster. They lost their magic for me when I was really young. And that's a whole nother story. Might get into that later, but the holidays themselves are very stressful. And now that Christmas is come and gone and New Year's is over and done with, I'm actually able to get back and I can write without being distracted by everything that's happening. I end up going back to a story that I started before that I put on the back burner and let simmer. It's what a lot of writers will do when they come to a point in the story where they become so stuck they can't figure out a way out of it. So they'll set it aside and they'll come back to it in a couple of months and maybe something new has popped up. Well, I reread what I wrote and I've come up with the same problem again. Now, the premise of the story, it's about a girl who survived a car accident that ended up killing her mom and dad and her sister. She was the only one who survived. As far as she knows, there are no other relatives that either wanted her or who were available, you know, who were around living. So she's been moved from foster home to foster home, group home to group home, and she's very cynical, and she also keeps to herself. Well, the house that she's at now, they were getting ready to do something that was specific to the house parents' religion. Now, the house parents' religion is different from my main character's religion. And I got stuck on trying to figure out how to bring up or how to explain the different beliefs in religion. Like, for example, okay, Jews and I believe Muslims won't eat pork. It's in the Bible that, you know, pigs are unclean. They don't eat pork. They don't eat, Jews don't eat shellfish, which really sucks because clams and shrimp are really, really good. That's beside the point. But you don't see Christians doing that. I mean, they did for a while where there was no meat on Friday. That's why McDonald's came out with the fillet of fish, was to keep customers on Fridays, since mainly Catholics didn't eat meat on Fridays. So, you know, they would turn to fish. Well, why not make a fillet of fish and a little fish sandwich, so that way they can keep having customers. Again, that's a different story altogether. But still, how do you explain to somebody that what you're going to do is not what my religion does? Okay. Again, with Jews, they don't believe that Jesus was the Messiah. He may have been a prophet, he may have went a little too far, but he's not the Messiah. So they don't celebrate Christmas. However, they do celebrate the Festival of Lights, Hanukkah, you know, which, you know, is 8 days of presents. As a kid, that sounds great until you find out what the presents are. But my problem was, how do you explain to them? And when I came back to the same story, I've immediately slammed into the same problem. I still don't know how to do it. But it got me thinking. When I was a kid, you know, I had tragedy happen to me, and long story short, my dad, who had adopted me and my brother, ended up remarrying, and 2 months after the marriage, the step monster, and I say it very affectionately, but she is a step monster, and if you knew the entire story, you'd understand why. She laid down the law and said, if you're going to live in my house, now mind you, she moved into my house, not her house, you know. But according to her, if you're going to live in my house, you're going to go to my church, do my religion, so on and so on and so on. Okay? She's the outsider, moving in, she takes over. Her religion happens to be Mormons, Latter-day Saints, which I can't. But again, that's another story. But I found that what she was doing is exactly what my character's foster family is doing. If you're going to live in my house, you're going to go by my religion. But that got me thinking about religion in general. Now, I have nothing against religion. I'm religious. But the whole concept of the different religions, I don't understand. Every single religion out there, whether it be the Western religions or even a lot of the Eastern philosophies and religions, they all teach one main message. The Christians call it the Golden Rule. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Treat people how you want to be treated. Now, I've been able to find out that that Golden Rule goes back, I think the first instances are in Buddhism, which is long before Christianity even thought about popping their head up. So the idea has been there before the major Western religions took hold. But still the question remains, if they all teach the exact same message, why do we have so many? Why do we have Judaism and Islam and Christianity and Buddhism and Confucianism, Taoism and Shinto and Sikh or was that Sikh? I forget how it's pronounced, but you know, just the whole the simple fact that we have all these religions around the world, even the pagan religions, teach the same thing. The pagan religions, mainly Wiccan, because that's the most well-known pagan religion, they have a rule that if it harms nobody else, do what you will. So, I mean, it's basically the same thing. If I don't want you to hurt me, I'm not going to hurt you. And I'm still going to practice my religion and be peaceful about it. But again, if the message is all the same, why are there so many? And I started to figure it out. And it's all about politics. That's all it is. You get, for example, because I know Christianity better than I know all the other ones, which I feel bad saying, because I should be a more well-rounded person, especially if I'm writing. You know, I consider myself intelligent, but there's still a lot for me to learn. But with Christianity, basing it off of the teachings of Jesus, he tells Peter, I believe it's Peter, that upon you I will build my church. Meaning, he is going to be the first pope, which becomes the Catholic Church. Now, the Catholic Church is fine. It is slow on the uptake. I mean, there's a lot of other pagan religions out there. You know, the Romans, the Greeks, and they fought the what they considered the Christian invasion. But once Christianity did take hold and started to flourish, pretty soon, most of Western Europe, a lot of Eastern Europe, they were Christian-based. Now, that goes along great for a few centuries, and then you get the King of England. The King of England gets married, and he wants to divorce his wife because she cannot give him a male heir. You can't pass down the kingdom to a woman back then. It had to be to a male. He had daughters, but the daughters would be married off to foreign nations in hopes of building a treaty and stronger relations between the two nations. But once the father died, the husband of the oldest daughter would take over his kingdom, which would then be property of that king's or that prince's nation. So say a French prince married an English princess. Once the king died, then the French prince would now take over England, and England would not be English anymore, it would be a territory of France. And the king couldn't handle that. So he asked the Pope, because my wife cannot bear kids, or cannot bear me sons, can I divorce her? And the Pope said the only way that the marriage can be dissolved is through death. And obviously, you can't kill your wife, because then you're put to death. The king didn't like that, so he split away from the Catholic Church and made the Church of England. See, right there, it's political. It's Church A's ideology did not match my ideology, so I'm going to start a whole new religion. And that's what the king did. And that causes the branches, because from the Church of England, you get the Protestants, you get the Lutherans, you get the Presbyterians, and so on down the line. And it's always just a change in the beliefs and philosophies. One example, the Baptist Church of the Christian faith thinks it's an abomination for there to be gay people. If you're gay, you are against God, and therefore you should be shunned by society. There are other branches of Christianity that believe that what was taught was that we love everybody. Doesn't matter the color, doesn't matter the gender, doesn't matter your orientation, you love everybody. Again, it's purely a political type of break. But then, like I said, I'm back to the same problem of why do we have so many? We're being taught the same message. And the worst part was, when I'm growing up, I was subjected to so many different denominations of religion. And they all said the exact same thing. They taught the golden rule. They taught the same message, saying that, if you want to be treated right, treat others right. Like I said, the golden rule. But ultimately it came down to, they would say, we are right. We teach the true word of God. Everybody else is wrong. And it doesn't matter what the religion was. Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, their messages are warped. Their messages are corrupt. But ours, which happened centuries after these others, eons even, we have the right one. The Mormons are really famous for this. They believe in the Bible, they believe in Jesus, but they don't believe that Jesus was the last prophet. They don't believe that Jesus was the Savior. They believe that Joseph Smith, the founder of the Mormon Church, he is the prophet. He is the one who has the true message direct from God, written on golden tablets that only he could find in a land that didn't even exist or that nobody knew of during the time of the biblical era. But he has the true message. So the Bible is great, but it's not complete. Now you've got the Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenant, and Pearls of Great Wisdom, or something like 3 books in addition to the Bible. When I had to go to their church, because that's the religion of my stepmonster, they never once opened the Bible. It was always from the Book of Mormon or Doctrine and Covenants, D&C. But yet they say they're based off of the teachings of Jesus and all that good stuff. So again, see, I'm still in that problem. I don't know how. I don't know how to fix this, and it drives me crazy when I come across problems in my writing and I can't find a way around it. I still know how I'm going to explain it, especially. I mean, I could be a wimp in my writing and have, oh yeah, I understand, and go on their merry way. But when I wrote the mother and father of the foster home, that's not how I portrayed them. I didn't portray them as the upstanding and understanding people. They are more of the type of people that have the idea that what I say is right and what everybody else says is wrong. Now, in America right now, with the pandemic going on, we have people that we affectionately call Karens. And these are women who throw little hissy fits because they believe that they are entitled, that they are right, and everybody else is wrong, and no matter what they were doing. One thing Karen loves to do is gripe about wearing the masks. She doesn't believe in the social distancing. She doesn't believe in the mask. She doesn't believe in the vaccine. She doesn't believe that the pandemic is real. That's how I have portrayed the characters, the foster mom and dad. Well, the foster dad is a little different, but the foster mom in the story, that's how I have her portrayed. And this was written long before the pandemic even hit. The dad is more of a beat down wimp. The mom has browbeat him so bad that if she starts to say jump, he's already asking how high. He has no mind of his own. He has no spine. He doesn't stand up to her. So it's, like I said, it's the mom that runs the show. And my main character is, obviously she's in that age of rebellion where she's going to try and jump against any type of establishment that tells her what she can and cannot do, especially when they won't even listen. You know, a problem that a lot of teens face. You know, the adults, they won't listen to what the teen is saying. So, but like I said, that's the problem I'm having. That's, and usually when I talk about it, usually when I run the scenario through my head, like I am now, I can find a way out of it. I can find a way that doesn't make the writing weak. It holds true to the characters, holds true to the plot. But this is something I have a problem with. I can't figure out how to explain it, how to get my main character's point across and have the mom understand. I don't know. Maybe something will come to me, but I think I'm gonna go back and start trying to write again and see if maybe I can work it out. But until next time, thanks for watching, guys.